Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have Gina Tang with us, and Gina was born and raised for a short period of time in Taiwan and came to LA and has now gotten into real estate. Actually, she has gone through the process of selling luxury homes, and now she's actually remodeling and building and flipping luxury homes. So Gina, it's great to have you. I just kind of love to hear how you did all that and how you got to where you are.
Thank you for having me on this podcast. I'm really, truly grateful. From 2010 to 2020, I'm a licensed California real estate broker. I worked for luxury home builders. So I sold many, many newly built luxury homes. And in 2020, I decided just to go off my own. And now I am a luxury home real estate developer builder. I am fixing and flipping luxury homes. And I think my next project, I hope to do a ground up construction of a luxury home here in LA.
Wow. So that would indicate there are still a few vacant lots out there?
I think so. There's plenty of activity here in the luxury home market here, definitely here in Los Angeles. So yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and so it would indicate the market is still pretty good for sales of luxury homes.
Well, California in general, that goes for Northern Southern California, has the highest per capita of wealthy people. And I would say 30% of that comprise of people from overseas to contribute towards that demographic. So when I was a luxury home realtor selling newly built luxury homes, there was tremendous amount of activity. So in the luxury home market here, it's very active. Very, very active. If I were to, go back to selling luxury homes, I would be here in California. So I understand the market. I know the demographics of people. I know what they want. I know what they're looking for. I've sold over 200 newly built luxury homes. So, and here in LA, and that market is not dying. It's definitely still thriving, even in Northern California too. Northern California has got a huge high-end real estate market.
Even though the money flowing out of China has changed since 2010, but that doesn't seem to have affected the market very much.
No, it hasn't. In fact, I read some statistics just the other day that I think Asian buyers in general, that comes from China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, even Korea, they comprise, I think their activity of real estate purchasing has increased by 83% in 2024.
Wow.
Yeah, it's actually increased. So when I was selling luxury homes, they were a good 30% of our home buyers. We get a lot of Pacific Rim clients, and that hasn't really slowed down. Many of them purchase with cash. Many of them also get loans because we also have very good international loans for foreign buyers.
Well, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. So where do you find money for foreign buyers?
Well, a lot of them bring their money from overseas. Yeah, and for a while there, China was very free flowing insofar as money, but that's all changed. And so a lot of them are coming from Taiwan and Hong Kong and Singapore and Korea. And I think that also before the changes happened in China itself, a lot of people in China were able to get a lot of the money out of China before all the changes took effect.
So let's just take an example of a Taiwanese buyer that maybe needs a loan, would actually get the money from a Taiwanese bank.
A lot of them can get loans here in the United States.
Okay.
In United States, there are a lot of loans for foreign buyers for foreign loans.
I see.
Yeah,
So,
there's actually quite a few. There are loans that are specifically for buyers that are not from this country. They may not have a W-2, they may not have a Social Security, and that's okay. There are other ways to qualify the buyer. So I think it's great because they bring a lot of business, they bring a lot of money, they pay property taxes, they stimulate the real estate economy. They actually help us in many times because oftentimes we ran into situations where escrow could not close with a domestic buyer. So we'd always look upon the overseas buyers, and they always came through for us. We always found one or two from overseas that were able to help us.
wow. That's interesting. So these are basically American banks that have a system for lending to foreign nationals.
Oh, absolutely. They're private lenders. Most of them are private lenders.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Some retail banks also do them, like the bank of, retail banks, meaning Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, the large retail chains. Some of them do as well. I just don't know their programs. But I do know that private lenders have a little bit less stringent guidelines. They're a little bit less black and white insofar as what they can do. They have a little bit more flexibility to accommodate a lot of these different types of buyers, that home buyers that may not be your traditional W-2 job employees.
Right. So the interest rate might be a little higher for a private lender, but also the restrictions or the qualifications are a little lower, so that helps them put it together. What's the typical ratio of the loan to value in a foreign national situation?
I assume that it would probably be the same, like 80%, 80% down LTV. They have to put a 20% down for primary residence. For investment properties, probably like 70% LTV. So then they have to come up with 30% down payment. Yeah, their guidelines are a little bit more flexible to accommodate the needs of foreign buyers. And because you think, I mean, millions and billions of dollars come into LA and California in general from other parts of the country. So if lenders, they want to capture a portion of that business, they have to kind of, you know, revise their lending guidelines to meet this demand. Otherwise, they're missing out on a huge portion of that business.
Well, and if they're charging a higher interest rate, they should obviously try and go after this type of business, right?
The interest rates are actually quite pretty competitive. It may not necessarily be the same rates that maybe Wells Fargo or Bank of America may be charging, but you'd be surprised. Some of these private lenders are very, very competitive. Like for instance, like for real estate investment loans, a lot of times interest rates are like in the 6 and 7s, and for the private lenders, it's the same thing, 6 and 7s. They're very, very competitive. Yeah.
Wow.
In the private lending world, it's actually bigger because you figure the retail banks are just a few, like your Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. You can just list them like in two hands. But in the private lending world, there's millions and billions of them and they're all over the country.
Right, right.
Type in private lending, you get you get pages and pages of them. They're all over. They are all over the U.S. and they have all kinds of programs for all kinds of buyers. There's foreign national loans. There's also loans for people who are not W-2 earners. Maybe they're self-employed. They don't have their 1099. Maybe they don't, or some of them don't even file tax returns. There are loans that people don't even need tax returns. Some of them are asset-based. It's based on the asset. Some of them it's based on the rent. So they just base it just purely on the rent of the property.
So are these loans typically 3 to 5 years, or are some of them even longer?
Some of them are longer. Like for instance, a lot of the home buyers for people with second homes, vacation homes, or primary residences are definitely, for longer. Investment properties, same thing, rental properties. And then you have your construction loans, your bridge loans. Those are a little bit shorter because of the nature of the project. Construction usually lasts 1-2 years at the most, maybe 3, depending on the size. So those would be a little bit shorter. The shorter the loan, of course, the higher the interest rate.
So I think you indicated they're also loaning against commercial properties. Are we talking about multifamily projects, or are we talking industrial, retail, office?
Yeah, there's several lenders in the private lending world that do a lot of commercial. I have not ever sold commercial properties, maybe one or two in my entire real estate realtor career. And those involve just pure cash transactions. I do know, however, there's a lot of lending going on in the commercial world for domestic as well as overseas buyers. I do know that overseas buyers has a huge appetite for commercial real
Oh,
estate
wow.
here in California. Yeah, quite a bit.
It's a good time to buy right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, uh, you worked for Newmark for a short period of time, right?
Yeah, I worked for Newmark. It was a very short period of time. This was right before they had many changes, and I think I was involved with a lot of the Chinese buyers there. And I sold a couple of real estate properties, and then that was it. This was like in the right after the recession, and things were kind of tight back then, so but
Yeah.
I did manage to, I think I had a few transactions involving selling some retail spaces and also some office spaces that I leased. And then I only did that for like a year and a half, and then I went right into working for builders, and then I've been with builders ever since.
Yeah. And then you went out on your own.
Yeah, so now I'm completely on my own. However, the experience with Newmark really taught me a lot about how to evaluate investment properties because
Ah.
we talked about cap rates and ROI and stuff like that. So that's and that kind of helped me to understand a lot about building and the fixing and flipping that I do right now. So yeah, so I think the commercial real estate kind of helped me to understand a lot about how to really kind of take on a commercial property. I mean, like a house, and understand how to look at that from an ROI perspective.
No, I think that's a great education to have because I think a lot of fix and flippers aren't necessarily educated on how the numbers would go together and make sure that they're really making a good investment. So that's probably very, very helpful for you to have gone through that.
Oh, definitely. It really helped me. It was only like a year and a half, and I think that was just enough. And then I went straight into working for builders for about 10 years. And then, yeah, and then it was Toll Brothers, and then I worked for huge international multi-billion dollar builders in downtown Los Angeles, where I was selling the high rises. I was selling the newly luxury high rises, and that's a whole nother
Yeah.
genre. It's just high rises are totally different.
Well,
So.
I assume that market has slowed down. Are people still building condos in LA?
I haven't been there in a long period of time, but I do
Yeah.
know that I still see cranes out there. And,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I have been in California as a realtor for over 10 plus years. Downtown Los Angeles was the most expensive real estate I have ever experienced in my entire career as a realtor. Their HOAs, just like for a one bedroom condo, was $1,000 a month. But then again, they had more amenities.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, and it's an expensive building, so I'm sure that probably was the case. But in the case of maybe someone coming in from the Pacific Rim, that was very desirable.
Yeah, they had things like, concierge service, they had movie theaters, and just a lot of different amenities that maybe a single family home would not have. So they were very amenity heavy. And so therefore their HOAs were pretty high. And it was just a whole different world altogether. With high rises, it's not about the location of the building, it's about the location of where your floor is. And also
Oh, oh,
yeah.
oh,
So
that's interesting. So I'm curious, how many of your foreign buyers were very concerned about the whole feng shui of the property?
some of them were very interested in feng shui, but some of them were also interested about how they can rent it out as soon as possible because they would buy and want to
Oh,
rent it out.
oh, I see.
So yeah, some of them would also stay there. Some of them also bought it for their children, and so
Yeah.
their children would stay there. So in downtown Los Angeles, there were primarily four different views. There was the Hollywood sign, there was the Crypto Center, now it's formerly the Staples
Oh,
Center, and then there
right.
was Palos Verdes, which is the ocean, and then there was the Arts District. So it really just depend on which four directions you wanted to capture insofar as your view, and then that kind of determined your price, and also where you are in the building. The higher up you go, of course, the better the view. But then the middle areas where all of our amenities were, so that's overlooking the pool. And it had a very
Ah,
tropical, kind of a Miami look to all the units there that surrounded the
right.
pool. Just very Miami looking. It was had palm trees and pool and beach chair. It's just really nice, and it was just very Miami looking. And then on the lower units, that were closer to the parking lot, they were a little bit more studio units. So they were very
Right.
popular with like the USC students. The USC students, their mom and dad
Oh,
would
I
buy them
see.
the units downstairs. Yeah.
Yeah, they buy them for 4 years and sell them or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, we have delved into that market at an interesting situation. So it'd be interesting to know, what do you think the future is going to bring?
I think that there's still plenty of opportunity insofar as luxury real estate here in California. A lot of it also because we've had 5,000 homes wiped out in Pacific Palisades, and also a lot of homes wiped out in Altadena. Pacific Palisades is a very affluent community. And I think a lot of the local Palisadians are rebuilding. So there's a lot of opportunities there. I see a lot of pros and cons about that on the internet, but there's still a lot of opportunities there. And California will always be the world-renowned hub for when it comes to high-end real estate. A lot of wealthy people around the world, when they talk about, buying luxury homes, they think of New York and LA. So,
Right.
you know, yeah, they think of LA, New York, and also San Francisco, LA, New York. But LA definitely has its appeal. So that will never change. I strongly still believe there's still a lot of buyers here and a lot of sellers, so that activity will always be there. The market is not so much impacted by the interest rate because I would say probably 30% of our buyers and sellers are cash transactions. Yeah, and I feel like it's so weird. The higher, more expensive the homes, the more cash there are too.
Yeah,
So
I think that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of
yeah,
cash out there just waiting on the sidelines, and I'm sure a lot of them are buying up luxury homes. So, very
yeah.
interesting market to look at. Well, Gina, I want to talk to you again maybe in 6 months to see what you think the market is doing at that time. So, I look forward to that. So,
Thank
let's keep
you.
it.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, and Gina, where can people get hold of you?
Oh, so I'm on Instagram, Gina Tang 28. I also have, you can also email me, Gina.tang at Yahoo. Yeah, and I'm also on Facebook. So
Oh, that's great. All right. Well, you can definitely find Gina Tang on LinkedIn because of all the books you've published. Maybe you could talk to us just for a minute about that.
yeah. So when I was selling the higher end luxury newly built homes for the luxury home builders, I had the fortunate opportunity to service a lot of Chinese buyers at the time when money was free flowing from China. And I just had the fortunate opportunity to become a lot of their friends and confidant and also their, consultant. And so I wrote a book series. It's a fictional book series about a Chinese billionaire from Beijing buying his $10 million luxury home here in China and here in Beverly Hills. And he brought his entire family with him. And it's just this whole mixed bag of fictional characters from China, and they are depictions of actual real people that I had the fortunate opportunity to meet here. There's a grandmother, there's his son that is a reflection of New China. New China doesn't know anything about the old China. New China is what you see today, very modern, futuristic, very wealthy. And then he has his niece who was formerly Miss Beijing, and she comes here. She studies at UCLA. Simon is here to study at Harvard. I'm sorry, his son Greg is here to study at Harvard. Simon is the wealthy billionaire that made his fortune in manufacturing. And then there's Grandma Mo. Grandma Mo is old China, and she comes to Beverly Hills with her old Chinese ways. So it's just this mixed bag of characters living under one roof.
Wow. Okay. Well, has Hollywood come knocking for the film rights yet?
I don't know. I'm thinking about producing it into social, kind of like a micro series on social media because I think that Hollywood is now going towards the direction of content creation and social media. A lot of people are now watching movies on their cell phone.
Yes, true. Yeah,
On
for
their
sure.
cell phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So a lot of people are watching movies on their cell phone. So I think this is kind of direction that a lot of people are going now.
All
So I
right.
might put together like a micro series.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll look forward to that series. I'll look forward to talking to you again in 6 months.
Forward to it.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for being on.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.